Following the success of the much-awaited sequel to Rian Johnson's Knives Out series, Glass Onion, the director has officially confirmed that he'll soon be starting on the story for a third film in the murder mystery franchise. As expected, it'll feature Daniel Craig.
Enter Benoit Blanc.
But it'll be very different too. Despite soon unveiling another TV series, Poker Face, starring Russian doll actor Natasha Lyonne, and also apparently working on a long-awaited Star Wars trilogy that he's had floating around his head for quite some time now, it looks like the third Knives Out film is still on top of the director's to-do list.
This is a smokeless garden.
No.
This is a smokeless garden. This is a smokeless garden. Please keep our water clean. Please keep our water clean. Please keep our water clean.
In an interview with Empire, the director revealed that he was already working on the next Benoit Blanc movie, as it was the most exciting thing for him at the moment. The films had served him well, and he felt as if he needed to make another because he couldn't imagine doing anything else. However, Johnson is still piecing the story together, explaining that although he had a big cloud of ideas, it hadn't snapped into focus yet. He went on to say that it was going to be exciting though, and that it was very, very different from the latest one, which was what he was excited about. While explaining how any of the Knives Out stories came together, the director and writer said that his job was to create an emotionally engaging narrative instead of just another film that was littered with purposeless plot twists.
A donut hole in a donut's hole. But we must look a little closer. And when we do, we see the donut hole has a hole in its center. It is not a donut hole, but a smaller donut with its own hole. And our donut is not a hole at all.
He revealed that he started each story structurally, writing things down in a notebook. Rather than starting with a crime, he would instead start with creating the structure first, modeling how the audience's journey was actually going to be throughout the story. And although the structure was still related to the crime in question, it has to do more with who we care about and why. He finished off by saying that as opposed to coming up with a great murder where the writer would drive themselves insane trying to make it work, he simply says, bring on the next case instead. Well, whatever his writing style may be, there is no denying the fact that it works, and I'm sure as hell looking forward to the next one. Johnson also recently teased the third film in an exclusive interview with Collider, where he talked about his desire to hop right into the project. He also stated that he's excited to continue exploring the world of Knives Out and was looking forward to creating new twists and turns in the ongoing story. He hinted at the possibility of introducing new characters and locations as well, saying that the franchise has the potential to continue for many more films. For fans of the first two films, a potential third installment has only increased their excitement, and with Johnson at the helm, it is sure to be a thrilling and engaging continuation of the beloved franchise. Putting all of that aside though, when can we expect a third film to come out? Development on Knives Out 3 is still in its early stages, as the director has only just begun piecing ideas together. This, plus the fact that he's only currently working on the structure of the film, seems to suggest that he's yet to start working on the script itself, potentially placing the next entry in the Benoit Blanc mystery saga sometime down the road.
Unfortunately, this crime clashed with the presence of Benoit Blanc. Oh, that's it. See that? Just went up there. Very good, very good.
However, considering the fact that the franchise appears to be Johnson's primary commitment right now, even putting aside his own Star Wars trilogy in order to focus on developing the sequels. So, it's possible that the script could move along pretty quickly, depending on just how fast Johnson manages to come up with the next batch of characters, mysteries, and twists. Plus, since there was a 3-year gap between the release of the original Knives Out back in 2019 and Glass Onion just recently at the end of 2022, the threequel could have a potential release sometime around 2025.
Our ancestral family home?
That is hooey. You know, Harlan, he bought this place in the 80s from a Pakistani real estate billionaire.
Shut up, Blanc. Shut up! Shut up with that Kentucky Fried Foghorn Leghorn drawl!
However, since the development of the second film had been hindered by both the COVID pandemic, which was referenced in the opening moments of the film, as well as Daniel Craig's commitments to his role as James Bond in No Time to Die, Knives Out 3 could come a lot sooner, as there isn't any setback in the foreseeable future. Still, there's no telling what Benoit Blanc's next case will entail just yet, as the third film is set to be completely disconnected from the last two films, featuring a new mystery and cast, aside from Blanc of course. universe. But wait, there's more, as Johnson has revealed that the third film isn't going to be the last film in the series during an exclusive interview with Radio Times about the future of the Blancverse. Johnson revealed that while his contract with Netflix only allowed him to make 3 films with the company, he didn't intend on ending the series once his contract expires. In fact, he hopes to extend the franchise for as long as possible, coming up with new mysteries to solve and new characters to doubt as long as fans are entertained by the series.
Well, get that, would you?
You're not in the bath again, are you?
No.
Even Daniel Craig, the star behind the mystery solver with an accent, shares the director's sentiments, saying that he'd be willing to play the character even longer than his time as James Bond, which was 15 years, as long as fans wanted him to. He also revealed that future prospects had been thoroughly discussed and that he looked forward to returning to the role. Unfortunately, the wait for a potential Knives Out 4 could be even longer than any of the previous films, due to the fact that Johnson's deal with Netflix would have been finished by then. However, considering the fact that the first 2 films made a profit of over $100 million, Johnson might have his pick of production studios once he becomes a free agent in the world of Hollywood. That is, of course, if the third film lives up to the standards set by its predecessors. Though it seems we won't have to worry about that, as the director seems to have a golden track record so far. Plus, we may even already have an idea about what the story of the third film could be.
Right.
Glass Onion took us further down the Benoit Blanc rabbit hole with a mystery that was splashed with murder, cameos, social commentary, and so much more. So it's easy for the casual watcher to miss a strange sound here, an oddball there, or a possible hint about what we might see next from the genius detective.
Help me! What happens at 10 o'clock?
After all, the quote disruptors finally reunite on a dock in Greece. They're confused to see a stranger standing amongst them. However, the troubled governor, Claire de Bella, recognizes the spiffly dressed gentleman. Well, his name at least. She asks him if he was Benoit Blanc, the detective.
Nobody tried to kill you, you vainglorious buffoon.
And after getting the confirmation, goes on to mention one of his previous cases. Here you'd expect her to say something like the case of Harlan Thrombey from the first film.
This is still our house!
Sorry. Likewise, the house at 2 Dearborn Drive and all belongings therein I leave to Marta Cabrera.
Oh, you little
Or the one about the murder mystery novelist, or maybe even that tennis champ, as all of those would have been callbacks to previous cases that have already been mentioned before in the franchise. Instead, Claire mentions the case of the quote ballet dancer thing. Now, putting our thinking caps on, such a vague phrase might have meant nothing in a regular film, but Knives Out is far from a regular film. Keeping the case in mind, you can also notice a statue of 3 ballerinas among the many glass baubles adorning Miles's den. Plus, with all of the clues and allusions that are hidden within the film, that detail doesn't feel like much of a coincidence. It's almost as if Johnson, a fan of laying Easter eggs in his films, was teasing what could potentially come next in the saga. What do you think, prequel or sequel? But hey, that's all the time we had for the mysteries, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video.